Mr. Khan, thank you for being with us. It's been an honor.
Thank you very much.
What were some of your reasons for leaving Pakistan when you did?
Yeah, if you, I'm sure history students know that we had two reasons. One was I wanted to further my education. It was a dream. I don't tell that stories frequently. I was undergraduate student when I took a class, Comparative Constitution of the World. In that, 4 constitutions were taught: Russian Constitution, German Constitution, Magna Carta, which is of course foundation of the British system, and US Constitution. I fell in love with United States Constitution as soon as I read the Declaration of Independence. If you know the history of the subcontinent where I immigrated from, and most of the world, you will know that we have suffered under the similar circumstances, and we have common heritage in that regard. I was in awe that this nation has gone through same conditions and same difficulties what subcontinent had gone through later. That was the hook, and then I read the other parts of the Constitution, so I had liked that. So that became a liking towards coming to United States to study law after I graduated from Pakistan Law School. And the second and implicit reason was that we had martial law in the country at that time of General Zia-ul Haq, and we were very much against that, the way things were going at that moment in the country. Total restriction on freedom of speech, freedom of movement, no freedoms. The concept that were dear to General Zia-ul Haq were being imposed on the nation and all that. So these 2 reasons, but mostly to advance my education and advance my career.
It is striking, I think, and if I'd had more time, I would have asked you about that. Pakistan is a country created by religious division and a war over a country splitting and violence about being Muslim. And so all the more remarkable that you then become a character in this sequence of events.
Thank you very much, Doug and Mr. Khan. That's an outstanding interview. So I'm Marcus Martin. I'm Vice President and Chief Officer for Diversity and Equity here at the University of Virginia. And I have a sort of a 2-part question based on comments that you made. First, would you give us just a little bit of information about how you compare and contrast the climate for your parents coming in, and then for you, and now in later years for your children? I know that's generational, and it's some era changes, in terms of 9/11 and so forth. So that's one. And the other one, I was struck by what you said about so many words standing by silent. My associate here, Megan, and I are working on the MLK Community Celebration for 2017, and the theme that our committee chose is Silence as Betrayal. And that was a quote from Dr. King around the Vietnam era. And then you were talking about communities coming together. So we work with graduate students, undergraduate students, and faculty, and we're looking at programming for MLK and other times of the year as well. So some of your thoughts on what you think we can be doing more as a university community and a greater community in terms of Muslim community and the rest of the community working together. So it was 2-part. I hope that's not too much to ask.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll do my best to answer. I'm not a scholar. I'm an ordinary layperson, citizen. First is, this is our second immigration within 2 generations. Our parents moved from India to Pakistan. We barely settled that we had to move to United States, but this is our home. We were very much, by the time I was growing up, these thoughts will come to our mind, the price that immigrants pay when they move from one place to another place. When would it end? Where would we make home? Such were the thoughts, because moving from India to Pakistan, we paid, like many others, paid a very heavy price in life and property. Yet, still to wonder, where are those dreams that we were told, when would those dreams will come true and all that? That became just a mirage. And then finally coming here, that is why you find me so passionate about making sure that I make this country, I make my country better, move forward. The rest of the world enviously watches us, our values, our goodness of this country. How can I preserve it to make it better, add a drop or two to this bucket of goodness so that it could preserve even longer, even more? And the second part of your question is that, and I'm reminded of a poem of my very favorite poet, Rumi. Rumi says that when you look at a tree blossom, your appreciation of that blossom is not complete up until you think of those who have planted it, who have watered it, and who have cared for it. So the work that before us, all of the leaders of civil rights, all of the leaders of various movement, the difficulties that they have gone through to make it better, to make our nation better, to pave the path that we are all walking so proudly and so enjoying. I remind always myself and others that always think of those leaders that have gone through tremendous difficulties. When people ask me, well, what challenges are you facing? I always say this is what I think. The people that have walked ahead of us had, from the inception, from the writing of the Declaration of Independence, to the civil rights, to the voting rights, to every accomplishment that this country has, just think of the people that just start from reading the Declaration of Independence. Just mere signing became a crime, and the price that our forefathers paid. And, you mentioned the name of Martin Luther King. What price the entire movement has paid in this country to make us better, to move us forward. So you're already ahead. The only layperson and humble opinion is that wherever I have gone, the more inclusiveness, the more interfaith, the more interracial, whenever the audience had been of different variety of reflection of United States, we have found all of their programs, the result of those programs have been much more successful. So inclusion of others, sometimes it is hesitation on the part that you want to include, you want to benefit, and that is where the leadership come into play, that leaders go there, reach out, bring them into the fold, and then work together. So I hope I addressed some of your questions.